The course I'm going to be teaching at LUMS is with the Gurmani Center, and that's where I work. And it is an introduction to Punjabi literature. I'm really excited about the course, and I've been contacted by a few students as well already, even though it's months from the semester, who are full of questions about the course. And I think that's probably because, I was a student at LUMS myself, and we never had a Punjabi literature course or any course in any of the regional languages. But that started changing a lot. The Gurmani Center now also offers courses in Sindhi and Pashto. And it's a really important move because we need to look at all of these regional languages to actually understand the connections between them, right? So Sindhi and Punjabi have a very long historic connection. Urdu and Punjabi then also develop that connection, right? So if we want to appreciate all of the motifs of even Urdu literature, we have to look at where they came from, right? So a lot of it is borrowed from, the much older tradition of Punjabi. The course, because it's introductory, looks at, it's titled From Farid to Farid. So it starts with Baba Farid, who's the 13th century Punjabi poet, and he's reckoned as the kind of first important figure. His poetry is also featured in the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the Sikh holy scriptures. And that also tells us a lot actually about how this whole heritage and this literary tradition is cross-religious, how it spans different religious communities. And the Sikh community and the Muslim community in Punjab didn't historically see itself as distinct, as divided as it does today, as it has increasingly post 1947. So from Baba Farid, the course takes us through all the sort of key poets of the Punjabi tradition, sort of the canon as we define it. So it goes from Baba Farid through to Waris Shah, Bulle Shah, Shah Hussain, covering a lot of these kind of literary giants, and it ends with Ghulam Farid, Khwaja Ghulam Farid, who's a 20th century poet. And a lot has changed by now because the British are in power now. And so I've been trained as a historian. So I am interested in literature, but my interest remains very interdisciplinary. I will use, I combine both kind of disciplines to do what I do. And charting that kind of trajectory and looking at the social transformations and the political changes which are kind of informing these works from the 13th century to the 20th century in Punjab itself also gives us a very different perspective of Punjab, because most of the other histories that have been written are always from the perspective of the ruler, right? So it's always the Mughal perspective or it's always the British perspective. But this gives us a perspective of the people because we're getting it through oral literature. And in the course as well, what I've tried to do is try to get students to engage with the culture and the performance and the music as well that goes along with this poetry. Since it is an oral tradition and since shrines have been the place where it has been sung and preserved, right? Not through any kind of state-sponsored written activity. We need to kind of experience those spaces and experience the different facets of that tradition, right? Which is musical, because there's a lot of, qawwali singing all owes itself to that poetry. And there's a theatre tradition as well, and there are local words for it, naat, sang, all of which we're going to be looking at. And I hope it's going to be an interesting course and students come to share my enthusiasm for my subject.